everybody, it's Angelique coming to you live from my studio in Las Vegas. And I'm so excited. We are going to paint Unbothered today. She is not really new. I painted her last year and never really released her. And I thought that it would be really fun to introduce her to the world on Mother's Day week. So I hope you're having a wonderful day. For those of you who have never done this before, it is very simple. This is Paint Party 101, Paint with Angelique. Very, very simple approach to acrylic painting. I am a paint and sip artist. I do live events. I do YouTube, of course, what you're doing right now. I do corporate events. I do employee engagement type things. So anyway, I was inspired by the late, great Miss Annie Lee. I am a self-taught artist. She did not teach me how to paint. I'm self-taught. And Annie Lee is, you might know this painting, Blue Monday. She is this artist, okay? This is one of her most well-known pieces. She passed away in 2014, and I spoke at her funeral as her number one fan. And her spirit is what really keeps me going to do what I love to do. So I hope, I feel like my mission is to bring joy to people through art. And this is a crazy world we live in right now. I am going to paint with you this is how it works. I paint with you for about 30 minutes, taking you about 90% through the painting, leaving you alone to do the rest yourself. This one might not even be 30 minutes. Beyond 30 minutes, my videos don't get viewed, and that kind of makes me sad. So I try to keep them right at 30 minutes, or under. So let's take a look at this painting. Let's get into it. Let's look at the reference photo here. This is going to be a reference photo today. Of course, it's not going to have the Mother's Day thing in there. It's just plain. And this, of course, you scan to get here. And this is new, so I hope you love it. Please make sure you go to Paint with Angelique and sign up on my VIP list and follow me on Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff. Ooh, I should put those right here next time. Still learning, y'all. It's been a year since I left my job to do art full time, and it's been amazing, but I'm still learning things all the time and improving and getting better, and that's what we're supposed to do. Okay, so let's look at this painting. I really love this painting because there's only 4 colors to it. There's a light pink or fuchsia, light fuchsia, dark fuchsia, brown, and brown on her coffee cup, brown on her skin, black and white. 4 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4. I had to make sure I have all my colors. So make sure you take off all the lids and paints and lids and tape, if there is any, off your paint kit. And in your paint kit, you have an apron, and it really fully opens up. Maybe put a little water on your fingertips and it goes over your head. So you want to do that. And you have a sponge brush and a blue paper towel, and you might have a popsicle stick to mix colors, but if you don't, we'll just use our paint brushes. And also you have all your wonderful paint, an assortment of paint brushes. Okay, these are pretty cool brushes, so you can rinse them out and use them again. Okay, trying to make sure I have all my brushes. The one that I really like is not in here, but it's okay. All right, so let's get into it. First of all, oops, I'm dropping things. By the way, I love my videos because they're very informal. My door's open back there. I have dogs. They might be coming in and out. They might bark. I don't know. It's cool, though, because we're friends now. Okay? We're friends. You're on my YouTube channel. Most of you probably already painted with me before live in person in Las Vegas. So anyway, let's switch it up a little bit. This is the trace version. We're going to get our sponge brushes out, put a light coat of water on them. And the great thing about YouTube is I'm going to go fast. And just pause me. Like, don't trip. Don't put stuff in the comments. Just pause me. Good Lord, my glasses are so dirty. I could barely see out of them. I don't know if you could see that on Facebook. On camera, but good grief. Okay, so I hope you have a water cup because water did not come in your kit. So while I'm cleaning my glasses, you can put me on pause and get a water cup. And that's a little bit better. Okay, so I have a cup halfway full with water. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the background first. All gray. You don't have gray in your paint kit, right? So we're going to make gray. We're going to mix a little white and black. And my paint My thing is like kind of yucky already with yellow paint, which makes no sense, but it's okay. So you can scoop it out with the back of your paintbrush if you don't have a popsicle stick. This is one of my favorite brushes. You don't have this brush in your kit. You can use one of these, the biggest one that you have, and kind of mix yourself some gray paint. We're going to put a light coat of water. Yes, we are. We're going to put a light coat of water on the canvas first before we start. But I want to mix some, if you're wondering. So I kind of scoop some white and black paint out for myself. And then I'm going to take the biggest paintbrush that you have, kind of mix it together, make gray for myself. And I am going to take that sponge brush and I'm going to put a light coat of water. I actually almost forgot that step first. And then I'm going to continue mixing my gray paint, okay? So, light coat of water with the sponge brush. Dunk it in with my cup. These are a little bit more, the trace lines are a little bit more than just pencil. So if they smudge, it's okay, but we don't want them to smudge. So don't press hard. Be a little delicate, but not too scary. If it drips, just catch the drip. We do want the canvas to dry a little bit. This is, what we're doing is we're priming our canvas so that it's ready to accept paint. Many artists use, most artists use gesso, or they paint it a couple times with white paint. It's to keep the first layer of paint from just sucking up into the canvas, okay? So we're priming them. They've been in the warehouse and who knows what conditions that they've endured. Half of them probably come from China, right? So anyway, so light coat of water. Going back to my gray paint. Mixing my gray paint. Scooping, you can use this, you can scoop it with this. If you have a popsicle stick, that I don't know if I'll put one in your kit, you can do that. Or you somehow get white paint in your tray, a little black to make it gray. Now I'm using the biggest sponge, I'm using the biggest brush in my kit, and what I'm going to do is carefully outline her, very carefully, and using the tip of my paintbrush, and then I'm going to paint the background in gray. It gets a little tricky around here, and in case I forget to tell you, you're going to paint the handle white later that's in there. That's not part of the trace line, but I might forget at the end to tell you, so you add that later, because I thought it would be kind of difficult to paint around that little tiny handle. Okay, with me? Paint the background in gray. And then this bottom part here is white. So I'm going to paint with my sponge brush because I have a big area to cover, and so do you. If you're painting with your sponge brush, make sure the water is out of it. Maybe squeeze it in that blue paper towel and and then go ahead and paint the background gray. I'm going to find a little nondescript music here so that they don't tag my video and bring it down. Paint in the background and paint the sides too. If you're confused, just follow me. My speaker's not on, so. Painting in the background gray. If you made it too dark, add a little bit more white paint in it or a little bit of water. Don't get black paint inside your cup because we need that white paint to stay white. So between these two brushes, so in the tight spaces, you might have to use this brush, like that area right there, right? I think that's the only tight space you really have. paint the sides so you don't need a frame for your masterpiece. Ooh, didn't mean to make that so dark. Gonna put some white over that. There are no mistakes. If you put something on your canvas you don't like, wait for it to dry, put a little bit of white paint over it, wait for it to dry, and then paint what you want. Going all the way down the sides here so we don't need a frame. Okay, so if you're looking at it and you don't like it, you don't like how it's the brush strokes, you can add a little bit of water, kind of even it out a little bit. If you look at the reference photo, their lines are going, they're my lines. This is an original Angelique painting here, by the way, not a shared paint and sip painting. The lines in there, the brush strokes, are more vertical. So if you want them, more horizontal. If you want them like that, you can go through and change the way that your brush strokes are and kind of start painting them this way, which is horizontal. Or you can leave them vertical. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just showing you the difference. I guess that's what I'm doing. It really doesn't matter. You could have both in the background if you want. But if you really look at the reference photo, we kind of took like a darker color, made the gray just a little bit darker. If you want that detail, make your gray paint just a little bit darker. And then take that big brush, the biggest brush that you have, and then you're going to go out like this with it and put those lines. But you don't have to do that if that seems a little too difficult for you. Just leave it the way it is. But now since I just started it, I'm just going to do it. So I made a little bit of darker gray. And then you could take this brush right here, the biggest one in your kit. Go into the darker paint. And then very lightly, very, very lightly, add those brush strokes. I just wanted you to see that you can get the same effect with this one. I don't like the way that looks. So I'm going to add a little bit of water and kind of blend it in just a little bit more. And if it's too dark, you could just add a little bit of white to it. Totally up to you. Now, I go really fast in these YouTube videos because you can pause them. So don't come after me in the comments. Don't call me and text me and tell me that. As a matter of fact, I think it's better to actually watch the video all the way through and then paint your painting. But that's just me. Because you'll understand the direction that we're going in with it. Because I used to do a lot of videos, watch a lot of videos and try to paint along, and then I'd get like confused. And sometimes the artist screws up, and then you have to screw up with them. So unless they edit and stuff, which I don't. So anyway, so if you're doing the lines horizontally, you're going to kind of go like that, kind of blend it in until you get the way you want it. Now, I'm taking you 90% through the painting. I'm going fairly quickly. I'll be done in about 30 minutes. You won't. You can't complete a nice painting in 30 minutes. I give you the lay of the land. Then you use the artist within to complete your painting, okay? And we all have an artist within, okay? So, next, remember we use the black paint second to last and the white paint absolutely last to do all the highlights and stuff like that. So, the next color that I'm using is going to be the pink. Now, if you notice, her robe is really light pink with dark accents on it, okay? So, the folds in her gown are dark. So, you can do this two ways. You can mix the paint in your tray, or you can mix the paint on your canvas. I'm going to mix in my tray. I'm going to scoop some fuchsia paint out, however you want to get it out, with the back, with your other paintbrush, and then protect your white paint. So you can't mix, I don't want, like mine is all yucky. I don't want you to mix different colors in there. If you're going to scoop out white paint, get a different brush. Scoop out the white paint because you need this white to stay, you need it to stay white because we're going to use it for highlights in the end. So I'm mixing it in my tray. I'm making a light pink and I'm going to outline. I'm actually going to outline everything in dark pink. See what I mean about following along? That's why you should watch the video first. I'm going to make the outlines first. I'm going to swish my brush around. I'm using the biggest brush in your kit. I'm swishing it around, the flat tip one, okay? I'm going into my fuchsia paint and I'm going to outline all the creases first. You might want to use a smaller brush if you want. I don't know. I'm using the bigger one because I got big hands and I don't know. I like the big brush. So I'm outlining everything in the darker color fuchsia coming straight out of the paint, not mixed with anything. Okay. Make sure you get the little hump there because it's kind of cool because it shows that it's like a little flow to her gown there. I did all the outlines. Then that light color fuchsia that you did, the white mixed with the pink, I'm going to fill in everything, okay? I'm going fast because I want my video to be done in 30 minutes. You go at your pace and pause me. I'm okay if I'm going too fast. Okay? A little water if the paint gets sticky. Okay, people. Again, I'm going kind of fast, I know, but take your time. Now I need you to use your artist eye, okay? I need you to look at your painting and see if all those lines are where you want them. I'm going to reach in my bag and use the smallest flat tip one that's in your kit right here, okay? And I'm going to go into my fuchsia, my dark fuchsia, and I'm going to really look at my reference photo and really outline really nicely where I want my creases to be, okay? So, of course, you're not going to make it exactly like the reference photo, but you want it to look kind of fun and fluffy and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so just kind of have fun with it around her knees. Um, Make sure that you have a little bit of darkness around there. And also this area right here, kind of want to make that look like um, some movement in the material there. Okay, is that everything that's pink? Pretty much. Oh, coming right out of the fuchsia. Not mixing anything with it. I'm doing my peace sign. I'm just going to paint right over those lines that have been provided with for you. And then I'm going to go around the peace sign like that. Anything else pink? Ooh, her lips. I'm still using this brush, but you might want to move to a smaller brush to put a little bit of that light pink right around her lips there. Okay, cool. Look, all we have left now is brown. Now, of course, we come in many different shades. You can take the brown right out of here. You can mix them with white like we did with the pink to get a different level of brown. I'm gonna come right out of mine just as it is, and I might add a little bit of white to it on the canvas depending on how it lays. Sometimes, I don't know, the brown's kind of funky sometimes. It kind of does its own thing. So I switched back to the one of the biggest brushes that you have, that's square, because it's the one that I like. And again, it doesn't matter because of the type of painting we're doing. We're almost like just coloring with paintbrushes, right? If we were doing special brush strokes, if you look on the back of your packet, it shows you what type of brush makes what kind of brush stroke. So you can have fun later and play with that kind of stuff. But for what we're doing, it's pretty much what feels comfortable to you. Now, I'm careful about where I start because I know this is wet and I don't want to drag any of the pink in with the blue, with the brown. So I'm going to start with her face. We're painting with acrylic paints, by the way. They wash very easily off your skin, not so easily off your clothes. That's why we have the apron on. If you get some on your carpet or something like that, just soap and water, typically. Okay, they dry very quickly. They're easy to layer, and that's why so many beginning artists love to start with acrylic paints. So I'm going to outline her face. I'm going to paint right over this marker stuff because it's easier for me to get a good layer of paint on. I'm not going to paint over her glasses. If I get a little brown on the glasses, it's okay. But over her nose and her eyebrows, I'm just going to paint over them because I don't want any white gaps in between that because it doesn't look right. And I just have a tiny bit of brown paint on my brush. Just a very tiny bit, and I'm dragging the color throughout her face. And then I'm even going to take a little bit of water, even though my water's pink, it's okay. And I'm going to use the water to really smooth out the paint. Again, just a tiny bit of brown. Outlining her face first with the tip of my paintbrush. Very tiny amount. Her neck right here. And I'm just dragging it through. Just very, very tiny amount of paint. Now, if you wanted to be darker, or you already made a darker paint, I still want you to do it the same way. And when she dries, that's when you're going to put another coat on it if it's not quite the way you want it. We want to get as close to the lips and all that as we can. We don't want any white space. You might have to change brushes to get in there a little bit better. Again, you might want to change brushes when you're outlining, like her fingers, to make sure that you have the shape of the fingers just right. That does kind of make a difference. I'm going kind of willy-nilly with mine, but you want to make sure that you make the hand look like a hand, as much as a hand as you can. This is impressionistic art, so you're giving the impression that it's a hand. All right, so don't get obsessed with that. I'm looking at my reference photo a lot too, because around here is going to be some black, because we want to give some flow to that nightgown, to that that she's wearing, to the robe. I'm looking for everywhere that's brown. Her other hand here. Again, take your time with the hand. I'm just kind of doing it for the tutorial very quickly. outlining it first with a very small amount of brown paint, dragging it through it. Still just a tiny amount of brown paint. That's the key here. Outlining her leg. Remember, I waited because I wanted that. I don't want to drag that pink in there. And there's some definition on her kneecap there. I'm doing an outline with because I want it to be a little bit darker. Outlining, outlining, outlining. A little bit dark definition in this other one too. It's kind of like a V. And the front leg, this leg goes over that one. I'm just making sure that I'm looking at my reference right. So outline it first, dragging paint with my paintbrush, the paint that I still have left on my brush. That's what I'm doing. Maybe a tiny bit of water if it's a little sticky. Be very careful, okay, with her skin. And again, if it's not how you want it, apply another coat. Take your time. I'm going fast for tutorial purposes, okay? So I would definitely need another coat of brown on her. Just trying to get it on there. Let me see if I can move my little ring light a little bit so you give you a different kind of view of it. But because it really doesn't look as bad as it does with the ring light shining on it like that. All right. So I got the pink down. I got the brown down. Second to last is going to be the white. But I'm thinking because I want to do black first. So we're going to do black first. Second to last is black. I'm going to get one of the smaller brushes. And I'm going to do some outlining. I'm not even going to wet it. Just a little bit of black. Being very, very careful with her face. Being very, very careful around the eyes now. I want you to notice that it's going to take you a little time working with these glasses because I didn't extend the glasses outside of her face because when we put the gray on, it would be difficult to go around it. You're really going to have to take your time. You might want to get a pencil and design her glasses because they're going to go outside of the curve of her face. And I'm using that detail brush. Try not to rest your hand on the paint, on the canvas like I'm doing. And lightly go around, really getting that definition of the cat eye glasses. Kind of follow, we really need it to be thick over here because we're going to put some little white gems on there. And then it's kind of thinner around everywhere else. But this takes a steady hand and it takes a little time. Okay, I'm just going really fast. And it's a little bit of paint at a time, okay? So I am very lightly on her nose, very lightly around her lips, very, very lightly, okay? In here is also black. This is my detail brush. It's kind of harder to paint that in, but I'm just going to lightly do it. You might want to change brushes, but I want to make sure that I get that in solid, okay? So fill it in solid. Also, there's another little black spot I want to make sure I get, and that's around her arm in that coffee mug. So I'm going to put a little black there. And I also know that right in here, I want it to be a little solid too. These are kind of critical points here to get like a little flow going on the robe, okay? All right, so with the white, with the black paint, I always say this, I don't really like a hard line, black line around everything. You might like that. I don't. It makes it look like a coloring book to me. So what I do is I take my brush, tiny, tiny bit of black paint, and then I kind of just add a few brush strokes here and there to outline. But if you like a hard outline, you go right ahead and do that, okay? So, just a little bit. I'm going to do that and play a little music. I also forgot to put a little bit of coffee in here. So I'm going to make my brown paint a little darker by adding a little bit of black to it. And with my detail brush, I'm going to put a little coffee in there. Okay. Then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the white. So right now I'm just doing outlining in black. Okay. Okay, okay, okay. That was pretty quick. Again, it's a tutorial. Again, it's a video. So pause it. All right, so I put all my little white outlines on there. Now for the big finish. When your painting is dry, that's when we add the white, okay? Doesn't matter how yucky your water is. Mine's pretty yucky and pink. What matters is how you wipe it off on your paper towel. So I'm swishing it around in my water, wiping it off really good on my paper towel. I know we did this background a long time ago, so I know it's dry. So I guess this is like becoming one of my signature moves. And you know what? I just noticed something. My lady has no ear here, so I'm just going to go and paint her a little. I'm going to extend her ear just a little bit out, just a little bit. So use your artist's eye. Put all those details on the painting. Rinse your brush out really well. Go into your white paint and put those highlights around everything. And it's kind of like my signature thing now. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. But I don't know. I like these little white outlines on everything. But again, you don't have to do it. It's your painting. Do it any way you want. Okay? So I'm going to put white around there. Where the canvas is white, like at the bottom here, you can paint it or you can leave it white or you can make it a light gray or whatever. Like I just made mine a light gray, but I think I like a white better. In her bonnet here, if you really look closely in her head wrap, at it, it has, it is painted white. And then it has a little bit of gray in there to make it look like it's kind of fluffy, okay? My white paint, I have it so much stuff going on in it, it's really bad. So if you mix a little gray paint and you kind of dab it on there, it kind of gives it the effect that there's a little texture, like it's a little terry cloth going on there, okay? We don't want it to look dirty though. So it's really, 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 really a light gray, okay? If you want to do that. And lastly, I'm picking the smallest brush out of my kit. And I'm really going to work on the glasses. Getting those little dots just right on her glasses. Because that's kind of cool, I think. So make sure you build, like I built my black up good on this one, but I didn't build it up good on this one. So make sure you have enough room. And with that white paint, clean up her glasses a little bit. If the lines are not straight, clean them up. Okay? I think I have taken you 90% through this painting in 35 minutes, and it's nowhere near done. There's a lot of work to do on this painting. Clean it up, make it beautiful, use the artist within. Don't forget to sign and date it because it's a masterpiece and somebody's going to be fighting over it one day. This painting is called Unbothered. So may you have an unbothered and pleasant Mother's Day. And this painting I love because it's significant any time of the year. I hope you find peace wherever you're at in life right now. And I hope you take those little moments to have a cup of coffee and to relax and to do some self-care for yourself because it's really, really important. So please, 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 if you post your masterpiece, please make sure your masterpiece, please make sure you tag me. If you know me personally, text it to me. I want to see your masterpiece. It's one of the most rewarding parts of what I do. And the other part is connecting with you. And the even better part is when I get to paint with you in person. So please, please, please watch some of my other videos. Order more paint kits. I appreciate you. Have a happy Mother's Day. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.